The crystal chandeliers cast warm light across the ornate ballroom of the Grand View Hotel, their thousand facets creating dancing rainbows on the cream-colored walls. White roses filled every corner of the elegant space, their sweet fragrance mixing with the soft murmur of 200 guests who had gathered for what everyone believed would be the wedding of the year. Emma stood at the entrance to the ballroom, her hand resting gently on the small curve of her belly that her flowing wedding dress concealed so perfectly. At 4 months pregnant, she glowed with that special radiance that expectant mothers often carry, though today, that glow came not from joy, but from a fierce determination that had taken weeks to build. She watched Marcus at the altar, tall and handsome in his perfectly tailored black tuxedo, the red rose boutonniere on his lapel matching the bridesmaids' elegant coral dresses. He stood with the confidence of a man who had built a business empire from nothing, who commanded respect in boardrooms across the country, who believed he had successfully kept his secrets hidden from the woman he was about to marry. The wedding. Guests represented the cream of society, business partners, old family friends, socialites who had known Marcus since his college days at Harvard. They sat in their finery, whispering among themselves about the beautiful ceremony, the exquisite flowers, the string quartet that played softly in the background. None of them suspected that this day would become something very different from the celebration they had come to witness. Emma's sister Sarah, her maid of honor, stood beside her with obvious concern etched on her face. "Emma, are you absolutely sure about this?" she whispered one final time. "Once you walk down that aisle, there's no taking it back." Emma nodded slowly, her fingers tightening around the photograph. She held a picture that had arrived anonymously in her mailbox 3 weeks ago, along with hotel receipts, restaurant bills, and text messages that told a story she had desperately hoped wasn't true. The photograph showed Marcus with another woman, their intimacy unmistakable, their betrayal captured in brutal clarity. He made his choice when he decided to lie to me," Emma said quietly, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions within her. "Now he gets to live with the consequences." The music began, the traditional wedding march that should have filled Emma's heart with joy. Instead, she felt only the calm resolve that comes when a person finally decides to stop living in denial and face the truth, no matter how painful it might be. She began her walk down the aisle, each step measured and deliberate. The guests rose to their feet, their faces bright with smiles and expectations. Marcus turned to watch her approach, and for a moment, Emma saw genuine love in his eyes, the same love that had drawn her to him 3 years ago, the same love that had made her believe they could build a life together. But love, she had learned, was not enough when it existed alongside deception. As she reached the front of the ballroom, Emma noticed her there, Vanessa Mitchell, seated in the third row on the groom's side, wearing a midnight blue dress that complemented her auburn hair. Marcus's business associate, his frequent dinner companion, the woman who had shared his bed while Emma planned their wedding and carried his child. Vanessa's face was carefully composed, but Emma caught the flicker of nervousness in her eyes, the way her hands gripped her small clutch purse just a little too tightly. She knew that this moment was about more than just a wedding ceremony. The officiant, Reverend Thompson, began the traditional words that had joined countless couples in marriage. "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to witness the union of Marcus and Emma in holy matrimony. Marriage is not to be entered into lightly, but thoughtfully and with complete honesty between partners." Emma almost smiled at the irony of those words. If anyone has just cause why these two should not be joined together, let them speak now or forever hold their peace, Reverend Thompson continued, the ancient words echoing in the suddenly quiet ballroom. This was the moment Emma had been waiting for. She stepped forward slightly, and the microphone that had been placed for their vows picked up her clear, steady voice as it carried across the room. "I do," she said simply. A ripple of confusion moved through the guests. Marcus's face went pale, his confident smile faltering as he stared at his bride in bewilderment. "Emma," he whispered, reaching for her hand. She stepped back, pulling the photograph from her bouquet where she had hidden it among the white roses. With deliberate care, she held it up so that Marcus could see it clearly, her voice never wavering as she spoke into the microphone. 3 weeks ago, someone sent me this photograph," she said, her words carrying to every corner of the silent ballroom. "It shows my fiancé, the father of my unborn child, in a hotel room with another woman, a woman who is sitting right here among our wedding guests, pretending to celebrate our union while knowing she has been sharing his bed." The silence in the room was absolute. Marcus's face went from pale to ashen, his mouth opening and closing, without sound. In the third row, Vanessa had gone perfectly still, her face a mask of mortification. Emma continued, her voice growing stronger with each word. "For weeks, I debated what to do with this knowledge. I could have confronted him privately. I could have called off the wedding quietly. I could have protected his reputation and spared everyone the discomfort of this moment." She paused, her free hand moving protectively to her belly. But then I realized that our child deserves to be born into a family built on truth, not lies. Our friends and family deserve to know the kind of man they have been celebrating, and I deserve better than a marriage that begins with deception. Marcus finally found his voice. Emma, please, let me explain. There's nothing to explain, Emma said gently, but firmly. The evidence speaks for itself. The hotel bills charged to your credit card, the text messages, the promises you made to her while you were making different promises to me. From the corner of her eye, Emma saw Vanessa rise from her seat, her face burning with shame as whispers erupted around her. Without a word, the other woman hurried toward the exit, her heels clicking rapidly on the marble floor as she fled the ballroom and the consequences of her choices. Marcus took a step toward Emma, his eyes pleading. Emma, I love you. I made a mistake, but I love you and our baby more than anything. Emma looked at him with something that might have been pity. Love isn't just a feeling, Marcus, it's a choice. It's choosing to be faithful when temptation arises. It's choosing honesty even when the truth is difficult. It's choosing your partner's well-being over your own desires. She handed the microphone to Reverend Thompson, who stood frozen in shock, then began removing her engagement ring, the 3-carat diamond that Marcus had presented to her on bended knee just 8 months earlier. You chose Vanessa, Emma said simply, placing the ring in Marcus's trembling hand. Now you're free to pursue that choice without dragging me and our child into your web of lies. The silence stretched on as Emma turned to face their guests, her chin held high despite the tears that had begun to fall. I want to thank all of you for coming today to witness what you thought would be the beginning of our marriage. Instead, you've witnessed something perhaps more important the moment. I chose to value myself and my child enough to walk away from a love that wasn't worthy of us. She paused at the end of the aisle, turning back one final time to look at Marcus, who stood alone at the altar surrounded by 200 wedding guests and the ruins of his carefully constructed double life. Our child will know their father, Emma said, her voice carrying clearly in the silent ballroom, but they will also know that their mother chose truth over convenience, dignity over false comfort, and a difficult, honest future over an easy, dishonest present. As Emma walked out of the ballroom, her sister Sarah hurried to catch up with her, along with several other family members and close friends. Behind them, the elegant wedding reception that had been planned for months would go on without a bride or groom. A costly reminder that the most beautiful settings cannot disguise the ugliness of betrayal. 6 months later, Emma would welcome a healthy baby daughter into the world. Marcus would provide financial support as ordered by the court, but the relationship Emma had once dreamed of building with him was gone forever, destroyed by choices that could never be undone. But Emma had discovered something valuable in that ornate ballroom, that she possessed a strength she hadn't known she had, and that sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself and your child is to walk away from what looks perfect but feels wrong. The truth, she learned, was worth more than any wedding, no matter how beautiful the setting or how expensive the flowers.